democracy dies in the dark, the critic is there to speak for us.
Well, I first got to know Blair 30 years ago or more when he was architectural critic at the Tribune and I was architectural critic at the Sun-Times.
Blair has, for almost all his career, been the voice of Chicago architecture, but unlike a lot of other architectural critics, he was almost immediately a national voice as well.
Blair was well read by people across the board. It wasn't just developers or architects. Business people read Blair Kamin because he was an advocate for Chicago.
I would describe Blair as an enthusiastic, optimistic, penetrating public voice for the built environment.
We live in a rare place where there's globally significant assemblages of plants and animals interwoven throughout the great metropolis. And Blair has always appreciated that in his work, that buildings are located in specific places that have names and meaning. We need open spaces so that people can experience the wide breadth of life on Earth and experience their own creativity and curiosity.
Open spaces were for people without Buicks, meaning that the people who couldn't leave town to go to Michigan Shore, Indiana Shore, to their special place by the lake, needed places like this.
All these other creatures with which we share habitat don't have a voice when decisions are made that affect their habitat. And so we become, as humans, the proxy votes for nature. Blair and I are both members of the Jewish faith, and the Jewish faith has an imperative we call tikkun olam. It means to repair the earth. Blair has done that through his advocacy.
Blair, when he talks about being an activist critic and about activist criticism, is describing his own work, but he's also describing what he wants his reading public to become.
So Blair's last book, called Who's the City For?, asks the question on the cover. He's asking about, who is this? Who's this for? Why do we do this? And the answer is really simple: us. And he's there with his tremendous knowledge, and he's also there to deliver answers, which is, when you make a city, you make it for everyone who lives in it, not just one neighborhood or another neighborhood, and especially not one at the expense of another.
Blair Kamin is one of a long line of champions for the lakefront in Chicago and for Lake Michigan.
You build against water. You've got to take care of it. It's a vital resource. We are water, and we consume huge amounts of it, so we've got to take care of it.
In terms of the open, free, and clear, that's something that is fundamental to Chicago. And he reminded people of that.
The challenge was the lakefront, as it pushes south, had fewer and fewer points of access.
The Pulitzer is a wonderful prize that's supposed to suggest others can learn from this. And Blair got it because he wrote in a way that resonates with audiences far beyond Chicago. The subject matters are universal. How do we live? How can we live better?
His Lakefront series really is the gold standard of what architecture criticism could be. Just as there is a need for equity and access in almost all other parts of life, the built environment is no different. If you cut people off from the lake when they're right by it, that's a slap in the face. You know, one example of how impactful that Lakefront series was is I was working in City Hall a little bit after the series came out, and it was still talked about. How do we build bridges over Lakeshore Drive? How do we improve the lakefront?
I first heard about the bridge competition by reading his column. Blair was engaged with the bridges not only from the beginning, not only with coming up with the original concept for better infrastructure on the south side in his 1998 articles, through the Mayor Daley administration, through the Rahm Emanuel administration, and through the Lori Lightfoot administration. He was writing through that entire time period, and that continuity, I think, was very helpful in keeping a spotlight on the bridges. They extend the lakefront park to the west. So they really connect the neighborhoods to the west of the expressway, to the west of the trains, with the lakefront and with nature. And they make that sense of getting to nature very pleasurable. It was really gratifying to have Blair write about the bridges. He quoted Martin Luther King saying that the bridges bend towards justice. The bridge is more than a bridge. It's a symbol of really what the city can provide as a healing element to the community and hopefully to race and class divisions in the city.
I think it's wonderful that Openlands is honoring Blair with the Gerald W. Adelmann Conservation Leadership Award.
Blair, congratulations.
Congratulations, Blair.
Congratulations, Blair. Thank you for sharing your Chicago with so many of us and in a way that has inspired us to see Chicago as our Chicago.
Blair has shown throughout his body of work how important he thinks open lands, nature, and the experience of nature are for healthy people and healthy cities.